Today we're here with Steve at Vegas Exotic Fish. We're going to be doing a tour of this place. We're going to be looking at the incredible selection of fish, tanks, everything they have to offer. So shall we start with this tank right here?
We got some super fun stuff up here. We import this from one of our Indonesian vendors. So these guys are called red-tailed booties. They're pretty fun. They have a little bit larger fry. They only have a couple at a time, and they only breed like every couple months or so. Unless you're like really power feeding them, keeping them slightly warmer conditions, and like intentionally trying to breed them. But you know, we don't really try to do that here. So I have a couple small fry that have been bred and lived throughout the tank. There's one right here and right there. So we've had a couple successful batches in here.
Yeah. One
of my favorite fish, especially if you keep these guys into like high spectrum, like plant lighting and fun stuff like that. The males have this gorgeous like deep blue with a light fluorescence and then the orange yellowtail. So they're a super fun fish to keep in my opinion.
Yeah, and they are live bears. Right?
They are true live bears. Yeah. You can see this girl right here. They take a lot longer to develop than like guppies or mollies do. So this female right here, even though she has like a decent bulge, it's probably going to be like another 2 or 3 weeks at least before any come out. And when they do have babies, it's only going to be like 3 or 4.
Yeah. So they don't breed as much as guppies or other.
No, they're a very casual bear. They're not like a prolific breeder like guppies and mollies are.
Yeah, and they're also pretty rare.
Yeah. So I've only. It took us about, I want to say, a year and a half before we found a wholesale that even had these guys.
Yeah.
And then when we found that wholesale, they have a bunch of other like rare, unique stuff on there. So I've been wanting to keep these guys for forever. I actually found these guys watching a video, and it was probably like 5 or 6 months later that we got the list for these guys, and I was like, we're gonna do the story.
And do these sell a lot? I see they're $20 each.
So they have a decent amount. This is more for like the group of people that we have out here in Vegas. It's more on the collector side of things. This is one of the little Easter eggs that we have in the store for the people that like want something a little different.
Yeah, yeah. These are super cool. And these are, yeah.
Right next to them, there's a larger species. They're in the same family. These guys are called Goody Trouts. So I really like these guys. To me, they look like you took a brown rosy minnow and a yellow snakeskin guppy and just kind of slapped them together and created these guys. They're another live bear species. These guys get relatively large. You can see the one in here is probably coming up on like 2.5 inches, maybe almost 3. The biggest that I've seen them is sitting right at about like 5, 6, so they get like pretty chunky.
Yeah.
So they're another fun one. They can do like a little bit cooler water, a little higher flow.
Yeah.
They're a real unique one. They're really good, like a pond live bear is what I would use these guys as. Instead of doing like the traditional molly or minnow or something like that, you can use these guys as well. And plus they have nice like flashy colors as well. They're pretty.
Right.
We've got some gold and black albus. I don't know if there's any, there is some vampire shrimp in here. I don't know if you're able to see them in the cave in there. There is some bamboos up in there as well. They're like the larger filter feeding shrimp, so they have these really cool fans. They'll sit in higher flow areas. They just kind of like pom-pom micro food out of the water column. They're pretty fun.
And do you want to show us these tanks?
There isn't really a whole lot going on down in here at the moment. There was like some really cool blueberry papua snails and some other stuff in here, but they've sold. In this tank, like we've got the spotted Congo puffers. These guys are really fun if you want like a full freshwater alternative to like your green spotted or your figure 8.
Yeah.
Only get about yay big. Full freshwater, keep a group in a 20 gallon, they'll be fine. They don't get much bigger than this large female right here. And then in the tank next to it, we've got like some hidden gems. We've got baby cactus plecos all right here. They're fun, more like carnivorous pleco. As these guys get older, they get some really gorgeous like patterning, really thick like spikes all over their leathery body, and the orange and red tones to the dorsal and the tail fin get much more pronounced. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, it's super cool. And do you make these lids yourself?
Yeah, so we just go to Home Depot or we go online. This stuff is called greenhouse roofing.
Yeah.
It's a really good lid alternative as long as you're keeping up on the maintenance, the light The light loss really isn't that big. These are really good if you're doing stuff like arowana, flower horns, stuff like that. You literally use like safety scissors, or just like a traditional razor, just cut them straight down.
Yeah.
And then, if you're doing any sort of wiring, like you'll see with some of the tanks over here, like we'll cut the shape of like the hang on the back filter, the little hole for like the aerators and all that kind of fun stuff on them. So they're pretty easy to use. We have a couple of mixed tanks, so like one of my favorite tanks is actually the one on the bottom down here. So it's a grow out tank. We have some Chinese hyphen sharks, and one of my favorite fish are their little juvenile Thai blue messiers. So they're a really fun pond fish. They're a tropical carp. They get about like 3 feet. And as they get older, they will turn just as blue as the bottom of this aquarium. They get a gorgeous like deep blue iridescence to them, so they're a fun like oddball fish to keep in your like koi or goldfish pond or big peaceful cooper.
Oh yeah. How big do they get?
About 3 feet from what I've seen. It does take them a little while, so they will keep up with size. They have basically the same growth rate as koi, so if you get small koi fry, the same size as them, you can keep them with them lifelong and there won't be any issues. They're completely peaceful, so they're super chosen.
Yeah. How about these?
This is kind of a hodgepodge tank of drop-offs. So we've got like balloon jewels, I've got some firemouth, convict cichlids, and then I've got a parrot horn in here. So there's this little guy. He doesn't really look like much right now. He's kind of hidden in the corner. He's a parrotfish flower horn mix, so he's got like a super short body at the moment. He's probably only a couple months old. So we get a lot of people that will bring their fish that they no longer want to keep into us, and we just kind of remodel them from there. And up here we've got some super fun Compo flower horns. We actually bring these guys in from Thailand. So I'm a big fan of these guys. They got real good aggression. They're good eaters, and just the overall colors on these guys.
Yeah, they look nice.
Any of the fish that seem really pretty in these rows is actually significantly prettier than it actually looks, because we have a lot of just super basic white shop lights all over these rows of tanks. So one of the fun perks about getting stuff that looks nice here is as soon as you get it home to like your multi-spec LEDs and whatnot, the fish looks even nicer than when it was in the store.
Yeah, that's really good. And how about these plant tanks?
So we've got a whole mix of like plants going on over here. Like two of my favorite ones we have the pink lady and then the purple bonobo. This one I like purple. So if you do the same exact thing with these guys, the entire stem, the leaves, everything will turn a nice deep like amethyst purple with like little lavender highlight.
Yeah. And I see you guys have a lot of plants in your store. Like these are filled with plant tanks.
We're big plant people out here, and not a lot of the other stores in Vegas where they carry a high amount of plants. And we like natural stuff here, so I'm all about like having like semi-terrestrial plants all throughout the filtration, full aquatic plants all going in the tank. Variegated lily turf. It reminds me a lot of like the lion grass you see in like people's yards and landscapes. So this is a fun one where you can have it like either partially or fully submerged. I've seen people grow this out of their tank, probably like 4 or 5 feet tall.
Yeah. And what about the beta tank? Do you want to tell us about these betas?
So this is a fun little like female sorority tank that we have going. We bring in nice betas from all over the world. This most recent batch came from our Indonesian vendor. So these are a bunch of just high quality Galaxy Koi females that we have mixed going in here. There's a bunch of them hidden throughout the plants. We probably started off with like 50 or 60 in this tank, and now we're probably down to about 20 of them in here. The fun thing when you're doing any sort of like sorority or like aggressive tank, our personal opinion here is like you want to intentionally overstock your tank, go bigger filtration, keep up on your water changes. There's just something about putting a high amount of aggressive fish together that it just turns off their aggression and they switch to a schooling fish.
Yeah. So these are like the beta sorority. And how much do you sell these for?
So these particular females, because they were Indonesian imported, like the wholesale costs and all that kind of fun stuff. We do these guys for $20 a piece here.
Okay.
And then a lot of the times, like we do a lot of sales and stuff on like a lot of the other stores in town. So a lot of times we'll have like a 40 or 50% BOGO, or just a flat like 30% off store wide, or certain times depending on like certain like tanks and stuff that we have. If we have like a high overstock of like Fluval Flexes or like UNS all-in-ones, a lot of times what we'll do is like we'll do a promo where like if you buy a tank, you get a beta for free.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's really good. And what about these puppers?
So these guys are some baby red spot cross river puffers. They're currently being treated. They came in with, I believe, some intestinal worms. So I found out probably about like 2 or 3 weeks after bringing them in, because I feed puffers specifically. I feed pretty heavy here, and these guys just weren't picking up weight. So they're currently being treated with Pro, and I'm hoping within like a week or so everything will be good, and then like 2 of these little guys will finally start putting on weight again. We don't really believe in like euthanizing fish and stuff here. I try and give everything like the most chance possible. So as soon as these guys are done with their medication, I'll continue to power feed. I'm hoping these guys will turn around, because puppers are personally like one of my favorite fish. They have so much personality. They're literal water puppies. And then in the same family, right next to these guys, these are a bunch of Bahaka puffers. Fasted a little too long, in my opinion, for the shipping. So most wholesales fast their fish for a few days before sending them internationally, so we don't risk any like high amounts of waste or ammonia spikes or losing the whole bag in shipping. So these guys are another fun one. Just got to put a little bit more weight back on them, and then they'll be good to go. But for now, the little babies hanging out here. These are one of the largest freshwater puffers. These guys can't exceed 2 feet in length, so they're just little babs.
These are quite small right now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're babies. Once we get to the other side of the store, I do have one at the moment who's right about like here.
Yeah.
So, and even that one's still a baby.
How about this thing?
So one of the fun things that we get out here in Vegas is there's a lot of like hobbyists that like to breed out here. So whenever we have an opportunity, like if one of our customers wants to work with us, if they're breeding some decent quality stuff, like these mixed angels here. These are some golds and some marbleds that have been bred together. Vegas is an interesting place because we have very hard water and stuff. Right here comes out of Lake Mead. It's extremely heavily treated, so for out here, most people do like a dose and a half to a double dose of their water conditioner versus a lot of other places out here because of just how much is in there. Yeah. So anytime we have the opportunity to work with one of our customers that is breeding something locally in our water, we do offer, give them the option of trading in their stuff for store credit in the store. So they bring me a bunch of angels and they can take home a bunch of frozen food pellets or whatever they want to use it for. There really isn't any limits as to what you can use your store credit for. You can stack it up. It doesn't have an expiration date. We don't force people to use it by a certain time, especially if you're doing us a favor by providing me with a lot of stuff that's in our water that I can do frequent water changes on. I don't have to worry about like the acclimation on anything. It's already here, used to it. I just got a temperature match. It makes my life easier, so we like to give back to the people that bring us in.
What's the typical pH range of Vegas water?
High. So depending on where you're at in the city and how far after it's like rained out here, whenever it rains, they do like do some additional dosing for our stuff out here. So our pH can range anywhere from 7.7 to 8.3.
Yeah, that's
so it is very, very high. And the mineral content for our water, if you have a TDS meter, the standard TDS for Vegas is anywhere from 570 to 660.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, very minerally, very packed.
All right. And what do you have in here?
Right now, these guys are just a little rope fish. One of my favorite, like ancient species of fish. They're just little snakes that live in the water. They're a fun one. They're like a mostly community safe bashir is the way that I like to describe them. They're, keep them with like angelfish, larger brahmies, basically anything except like little neon tetras, as long as there's no one that can like fit in their mouth and you're keeping these guys fed, you should almost never have any issues keeping these guys in tanks with anything. So
Okay.
they're one of my favorite fish.
And you guys are one of the only stores in Vegas that have a large emphasis on the plants, right? On the planted tanks.
100%. We love plants. Like when we slowly work our way over this way, we have a handful of like the more Wallstead style displays. I've got one tank that I've been growing a handful of plants out of for like the last, basically the full 2 years that the store's been open.
Yeah. That's a lot of plants in here.
Okay. And this is about like half stock. Normally we have like the entire middle row filled with plants, the entire far row filled with plants. Like, I think our biggest plant shipment that we brought in was 18 boxes from Indonesia, and every box holds anywhere, depending on whether or not it's cups or bundles, the boxes can hold anywhere from 150 to 500 plants. 18 box shipment. We had a few thousand plants in the store, so that was fun. We filled like as many tanks as we could that didn't have like mabunas or something in it that was just kind of ripping them apart.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We work with a boots guy online, and whenever we order from him, he just packs the bags filled with stuff. So I just kind of like pile them in here. The boots is fun because it's a super low light plant. It's like one of the easiest plants to take care of, in my opinion. So we just kind of pile them in here, let them do their thing.
What do we have in here?
So on this side, actually right now I think this whole section is empty. This is typically where we keep all of our flower horns, sometimes the Giardini arowanas when they come in. So normally we have about like 30 flower horns. We import flower horns from Thailand. We'll have Kamphas, we'll have super red dragons, Thai silk, super red monkey, all of that kind of fun stuff. Usually at least 5 to 10 of each. I'll just kind of stacked up individually throughout these tanks because like you can't have them with anything. They're love them to death, but they're murder babies. So
yeah. And is this a community tank?
yeah, this is just a little mixed tank that we decided to slap together. I just fed this tank, so they kind of went insane and stirred everything up. We have some rare severums in here, a doctorfish, a red-tailed lizard, farwella, a handful of cory cats. It's just a fun little, UNS display. We've got our CCAM title on the back. A handful of one of my friends and one of our regular customers. He does like 3D design. They have a 3D printer, so they actually print these cups for me, as all that yummy stuff just comes right out of that cup.
Yeah.
So they 3D print these for us. What a lot of people don't know is there's actually 2 different types of 3D printing filament. If you use the standard 3D printing filament in aquariums, it'll dissolve.
Okay.
It'll completely leach into your tank. So if you're looking for 3D printed stuff online, don't go with the cheapest option. It's just not going to work out. What he does is he makes these cups for us out of the actual aquarium 3D printing filament. So you can see like it's actually relatively thick in the structure, and I've had these in the tanks for, I want to say coming up on 6 months now with this plant growing out of it. When I first put this piece of green lily turf in here, the roots didn't even come out of the bottom of the cup. So it's had enough time to grow all the way down to there, and there hasn't been any sort of dissolving or any sort of wear and tear.
How about these tanks? This is like a cichlid tank.
This is a fun little hodgepodge tank. So we work with a lot of people out here. One of our regular customers actually does maintenance for an apartment complex out here, and one of the tenants just abandoned all of his aquariums and everything in the store. So he called us up, brought us everything down, and I hooked him up for bringing us everything because it was a lot of fish. And all of these babies, from what I can guess out of the fish that were in the tank, these are some flower horn Midas hybrids. So it was the only 2 fish that were in that particular tank with all these fry. So I'm actually relatively interested to see how they're going to turn out as they get older. A lot of these more natural colored ones do have a lot of red and green highlights throughout their body, and then we have a couple fun marbled, full red devil ones.
This really big house plant here.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So this one's fun. So this one's called a waffle plant. It's one of my favorite ones. This one does get sold as an aquarium plant, but it does significantly better as like a semi-submerged one. So this entire thing started off with probably one piece about this big. That I have some other like pothos and like fun philodendrons mixed in here. So I just took the one piece and just kind of shoved it in the center of the tank, and this thing's been just going insane, growing and taking over for I want to say probably about 9 months now. And this has been growing out of this tank, so I'm super happy with it.
Yeah. And what fish do you have in here?
Mostly just little baby koi. The last shipment we got about 4 months ago, there was a handful of ones that I just really got drawn to, and so I decided to take them and put them in here. I kind of cycle this display tank out every few months or so, just whatever is scratching the itch at the time. I've done like big predator tank, I've got the koi tank, I've done a massive like community school with like nano fish and shrimp, heavily planked, all that kind of fun stuff. Another really rare one that you don't see, these guys are called mouth almighties. For anyone that likes marine, these are actually a freshwater species of cardinal fish. So
yeah,
they're pretty fun. They're like having a pygmy bass. They only get about 4.5, 5 inches.
Yeah.
And they're relatively chill as long as you don't have anything in the tank that they view as food. It took me a few months, but I did finally get these guys weaned onto slow sinking larger pellets. But yeah, it took forever. They're finally on them now, so it makes my life a little easier. This tank's a fun one. So we have a bunch of PVC towers and stuff out here. This is just a little mixed designer crawfish tank. So we've got like this nice like white blizzard right here. If I can get him to come to the front.
Yeah, I see that.
There he goes. We've got a couple other fun ones hidden in here. Let me see if there's anyone in. There's like a nice sun-kissed orange right here.
They're super big too.
These guys are actually still juveniles.
Oh wow.
They get quite a bit larger than this. The biggest I've grown the traditional designer craze is probably about 6.5 inches.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more in here, but they've actually been selling really well. I've got one more orange one right there. This one's a real deep like sunset.
Yeah. Do they eat the guppies all the time?
Those are just some like leftover feeder guppies that we had in this tank from before. They actually haven't been that good at catching them. I think there's basically the same exact number. In here is when I first threw the crayfish in here. They're mostly just eating like wafers, sinking pellets, and all kinds of fun stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, because they do look pretty aggressive with their ponds.
Oh, 100%. Like if you have any sort of like pleco, the shear, any sort of chill, slow-moving, bottom-dwelling fish, they're gonna get a hold of them and try to do what crawfish do. And then even if you have other stuff, these guys are nighttime assassins. They will go for your fish when they're sleeping at the bottom at night. They'll just wake up and slowly you'll have less and less fish. So
are they nocturnal?
Yeah. In the wild, they are heavily predated on by like bass, trout, catfish, all that kind of fun stuff. So they do prefer like waiting, hiding in their caves during the daytime hours, and then when it's nighttime, they come out and do their thing.
Yeah. And what about these? These are black mollies, aren't they?
So these ones actually aren't black mollies. They're some sort of black and gold hybrid. You can see when they swim up toward the light, a lot of these guys have random yellow highlights throughout their like fins and tail and all kind of fun stuff. I'm actually a big fan of these guys. I do appreciate the fun little like ember like highlights that they have.
Yeah. And what about this monster?
Big boy right here was another fun trade-in we got. This is probably one of the larger Sevrums that I've had in here in a while. This one's one that I don't get too often. This is a tiger Sevrum. So he's got gorgeous color. He's pretty chill. Eventually we might move him into the big 200 over here, but for now he's just gonna hang on here until I'm 100% that he's like good and clean and doesn't have any sort of issues. One of my favorite things is he's got this fun little like blotch scale on both sides of his body in the same exact spot. See the same thing
yeah.
there.
And
So
does he ever eat the plants in here?
he has definitely reorganized them.
Yeah, I
he
think so.
chews on them from time to time, but he's not like hardcore eating them. They weren't evenly spread out, and then he decided that he wanted his own little dome over here because he likes to hang out right on the other side of this piece of wood.
Yeah.
So he cleared out everything over here and just kind of pushed it over there, and I just kind of left him.
Jump straight to this thing. So, what kind of platies do we have here?
So this is actually a mix of Hamburg, swordtails, and platies. But just like little concoction tank that we put together. I'm a big fan of the Hamburg. They're pretty funny. We have a couple of like gold dust molly, the gold panda molly drop-offs in here as well. It's a couple of Siamese algae eaters and then a small convict that was going through recovery. He doesn't really mess with anyone in the tank. When he first came in, I thought he was going to die. He came in with no tail, half a scale. So I put him in here to give him a chance, see how he did. And he's been hanging out with these guys just fine ever since. You can see there's no nicked fins, no one's missing any eyeballs. They'll sit right here in the school with them and be like,
Yeah.
completely chill. So
And are they breeding in here?
they do breed from time to time, but there's so much stuff in the tank that if they do have any fry, I never see it.
Yeah. But there is quite a lot in here.
Yeah, this is about half of what we started with as well. We probably got like 150 of each when they came in. It's a large 75-gallon tank, sponge filter, wave maker, ton of plants, thick substrate layer, so it wasn't an issue for this aquarium.
Yeah. And what about the? Oh yeah, we got that. Never mind. How about this tank?
So this tank's fun. It's got a bunch of baby electric blue Jack Dempseys in here, and with the golden Wonder Killies. Some people might question the combination. I just don't think they know like how aggressive these golden Wonder Killies actually are. They do keep the Jack Dempseys in here in check. It's a fun little combo. As both these guys get older, the electric blues turn a crazy like neon blue. The golden Wonder Killies turn one of the most clean like metallic gold to the nice blood red trim.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little tank combo that you can start off both as babies. So we got a couple fun little things in here. We've got some longfin cherry barb, some black neon tetra. And they're all piled underneath the heater back there, and then there's one in the corner. We have the banjo catfish, just another fun little like mix of color and personality.
Yeah. And the black neons are super hardy, right?
Yeah, they're like one of the staple like beginner fish if you want to do something that's not like a traditional neon or a rubber nose.
Yeah, I see.
Down here we've got some more of our fun locally bred stuff. Just a nice little hodgepodge tank of guppies that a handful of people like brought in.
Yeah, these look really good. Fancy guppies.
There's some good sized females and stuff. Outside of this little quarantine tank right here. So whenever people like bring stuff in, I set it aside for a few days before mixing it into the rest of the colony. It's just a handful of little African cichlids that someone decided they didn't want anymore.
Yeah. And what do we have here?
So we have a couple fun things up here. So we have these guys up here. These are another batch from someone else that has been locally breeding angelfish for me. These ones are zebra koi hybrids. So
Okay.
all kind. My favorite one is like this one. It has more of like the traditional like zebra color, but he's got all the like koi marbling. He's got a mask and a bunch of blotches. So as that one gets older, I'm really excited to see how that one in particular is going to turn out.
These look like Alton mangofish.
These are just the traditional. These are not the Altums. We do have some Altums in our private area next door. Is one of our guys has a personal tank of them, but it's not something we really bring in that much here. There really isn't a huge like crave for the Altums. They're hard to get a hold of. They especially water parameters, and they're expensive. So not a whole lot of people want to do them out.
Yeah, I used to keep mine at Petco. I got like a pair. What about these?
So this is some fun ones. We got some African rice fish in here, which are like the blue ones back there. One of my favorite fish of all time, the doctor fish. These are the guys that you see in like the videos, like people in Thailand getting like the fish pedicures.
Yeah.
You want
these other guys.
Yeah, these guys will just come right up. You see, they want to come up and say hi today. They'll just come right up and just start going right in on you. They're fun. Start keeping you nice and clean. They're one of my favorite cleaners and whatnot. You can kind of see the difference between this tank on the bottom and this one. So this one's got a nice decent amount of growth going in there. Got some nice coverage on the tile. And then from no doing of mine, these Dr. Fish keep this tank, pristine.
So they also eat algae, do they?
Oh yeah, they eat it. They're a true scavenger. They'll go for algae, diatoms, biofilm, carcasses, whatever food you throw in there, you're dead. Like they're about the least picky fish on the planet. They'll eat whatever's available.
And what about these rainbows? Where'd you get these?
So those guys are the African killifish.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant the killer.
So they're a fun killifish that we bring in. I'm a big fan of them. The nice blue metallic in the body, the dark silver smoky tones, and then the orange to red highlights throughout the pectoral and tail fins. So they're fun. Another super chill fish. You can keep them outside. Feed them frozen food, pellets, whatever. They're fine. And then there's little bumblebee gobies in here as well. These guys are little stinkers, so you typically want to keep them with like larger, faster fish than themselves. Don't put them with anything like chili reservoirs. You're just going to feed your bumblebee gobies.
Yeah. Those are some nice rainbows.
And then down here it gets a little fun. These are some of my axolotl tanks that I have set up. We're actually a local breeder of these guys out here. So we do what's called like AKC open lineage breeding. So all of my axolotls have like trackable wholesales, trackable bloodlines. If you purchase any of the axolotls from me that I bred personally, if you want, we can include their actual like trackable lineage, paperwork, all that kind of.
Yeah. You breed these yourself, like these axolotls?
Yeah.
Oh,
so this one specifically isn't mine. This is one that I got from one of my regulars. And this is just a nice high quality albino. But these two right here are German leucistics. So as they get older, their body is going to turn a nice cream color. You can kind of barely see the raccoon mask and the nice like peppering developing on the top fin of he's a little float right now. He's probably sucked in a little bit of air, so probably here in about 20-30 minutes he's gonna fart and then he's gonna sit just fine.
Let's move on to these tanks right here. So what are these fish?
So we have a couple fun little fish in here. I've got some empire gudgeons, I've got some tear spot barbs, and some mascara barbs. They don't look like much right now, but all the fish in this tank, as they get larger and if you keep them in the right colored environment, they all like color up significantly. The empire gudgeons turn some of the most insane combinations of like orange and black, and then both the tear spot mascara, or the tear spot barb and a mascara barb, basically turn into tie-dye fish. They get like greens and yellows, reds and oranges, all kinds of stuff just all over them. These gorgeous streamers that come off their fins. Really beautiful fish. They get about like 5-6 inches.
Yeah, those are nice.
Up here, we just got a couple things left. We got some nice green tiger barbs, a classic, and then some juvenile 3-spot grammies. What a lot of people don't know is the environment of the coloration of the environment is going to heavily like impact the coloration of your fish. So traditionally, these guys are a very blue grammy, but because the tank itself is basically completely white, over the course of a couple weeks of having these guys in the store, they have turned completely silver. And if I were to switch them back to like a solid black tank, like over here, it would literally only take like 1 to 2 days max, and they would be a nice deep blue again.
Yeah. So they turn greenish or grayish whenever it's a lighter background.
Yeah. So the coloration of your scapes, that's why I traditionally like to do darker tone scapes. I'll do like black backgrounds, dark red tan sands to black sands, darker like brown woods, deep green plants, and then a nice high spectrum like LED on there to bring out the iridescence of your fish. And that's how you, like in my experience, it's how you get the most coloration out of your fish.
Yeah. What do we have here?
It's a combination of some little tinfoil barbs and some roseline barbs. There's a couple reticulated hillstream loaches and some 397 tiger plecos. It's another fun, just hyperactive big schooling tank. Another one where they're just like not really shy. They'll come up. I hand feed most of the tanks here, so whenever I'm coming over here and playing, they get excited. I can come over here and catch like 30 of these guys out, and then like 5-10 minutes later, I'm back over here. They're ready to get fed.
Yeah.
So.
And are these easy to keep?
Little baby roseland sharks. They're an omnivorous, like little barb. They do get a decent size at about here, but basically anything like 55 gallons and up is going to be a perfect tank for a big school. These guys, you can keep a small school in a 40, but 6-inch fish, 40-gallon breeder.
Yeah.
And then the guys down below are baby monsters. Those are tinfoil barbs, so those guys get anywhere from like 13 to 18 inches easily. I've seen some people grow them to over 20 on some occasions. And they're very tall fish, like a pacu, so they overall just get massive.
And these are the gold barbs, right?
Yeah, there's a handful of gold barbs in here. There's like one little turquoise rainbow left over from my last shipment, and then a bunch of pearl gourami in here. These are probably one of my favorite freshwater fish of all time. It's another example of like the coloration of the scape washing the fish. Normally at this size, they're significantly more colored. If I were to move to another tank, they would pop like crazy, especially on like 4-inch plus adults. On these guys, they're arguably one of the most beautiful freshwater fish, period, in my opinion.
Is there a reason that you do a white background for this thing?
So when the store first started, pretty much all of these tanks up top were originally discus aquariums.
Okay.
So discus are one of the few fish that are the exception to the rule. They actually look a lot better in a lighter colored environment, especially if you're doing like the reds, the albinos, stuff like that. They will lose a lot of their color if you keep them in the darker colored scape. Yeah. So we did these like white backgrounds and white tile. What the white tile does, if you can't afford like good lighting, it will not. So out through all these rows, we have just basic white shop lights. So all of these tanks that have the white tile in them, when the light goes down, it just bounces right back up. So it's a way for you to get more lighting and be able to grow plants easier if you can't afford, expensive multi-spec LEDs.
Yeah, and these go across all the tanks.
For the most part, pretty much everything that's like in row over here. So anything that's in like these middle rows throughout this side and that side, it's all just standard, just monkey chain, white, $20 like 5-watt LEDs.
Do you get these off of Amazon or eBay?
We actually go pick them up from Sam's Club.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they're LED, right?
Yep, so standard white shop light LEDs.
Okay.
Easiest way to light it up without spending $1 billion.
Yeah. I see a lot of loaches down here. So, bikers, sorry.
Yeah, this is a whole hodgepodge of little Bashirs going on here. We've got 3 different varieties of Senegal and then some baby Delhaize in here as well. So we've got the leucistic, we've got the albino and the traditional Senegal or dinosaur Bashir if you happen to saw it.
Yeah.
Hector, PetSmart.
And do these get really big?
So the leucistic, the albino, and the traditional Senegal are gonna max out at like 14, maybe 15 inches if you get like a big one and keep it for like 10 years.
Okay.
The Delhaizes, on the other hand, I've seen Delhaizes easily hit like 18 plus inches.
Yeah. So this is just like a temporary tank for them?
Yeah, it's just a little hodgepodge grow tank with Bashirs. This particular variety of Bashir are heavily communal. There are some Bashirs, like ornates and whatnot, that can be a little stinky with each other, but these guys I haven't had any issues. You see everyone's got their pectoral fins, no one's missing any tails. Yeah. So as long as you're feeding them, they're doing good.
What do you normally feed these guys? Do you feed live?
These guys, I try not to feed live to anything in the store, outside of a handful of like wild caught things that just are refusing to do anything else. Pretty much everything in the store gets a combination of frozen and pellets. So these guys right now are on mysis, jumbo bloodworms, and then a handful of different sinking pellets.
Yeah. They do eat a lot, right?
Yeah, they can. Here we only feed once a day, just for like maintenance and water quality purposes. And whatnot, if I were taking these guys home, and especially if I was trying to get some size on them, I would probably be giving these guys 2 to 4 small meals a day, just to like have them hit their like hyper growth rate.
Yeah. Do you keep any of these out?
Not at the moment. I don't have anything really set up at home at the moment because we have about 300 aquariums to to maintain here.
What about this tank? There's a lot of tetras in this one.
So these ones are some fun tetras that not a lot of people see every day. So the red ones in here are actually blueberry tetra. They're one of the more rare tetras that you don't see every day. They turn a really nice, deep, like cherry raspberry red as they get older, which is funny because people call them blueberries. And these other ones with the dark line, these are probably one of the most gorgeous tetra you'll ever keep and grow up. Those guys are called imperial lapis. They're a tie-dye fish. You can kind of see it now, but as they get older, they get highlights of green, yellow, red, blues, all sorts of crazy iridescence. If you look up pictures of these guys on Google, they are just an insanely colored, like gorgeous tetra, something you don't see every day. And they're completely peaceful. They don't mess with no one. They have the same care and temperament as like a neon, basically. Just a lot more expensive.
Just one pupper in here?
Yeah, it's a slightly larger red spot cross river. So this one doesn't have as much spots as I would like, but he's a fun little guy. He hangs out. He's still a little people shy. We haven't had him for very long, but he's a fun little pupper. I'm a fan of this guy.
You guys also have a glowfish tank.
We do have some glowfish, yeah. Gotta, make the kids happy. We have some other more niche fish in here that are my favorite. So we have these gorgeous like blue zebra angels and these golden roseline sharks that are like not something you see too often.
Yeah. There's also some angelfish in the back. Do they not bother each other?
No, I mean, everything in this tank is like relatively chill with each other. The only time you have to worry about aggression from your angelfish usually is if you're pairing them up. So when they're breeding, then the angelfish can become relatively aggressive. But in a tank like this with some decent flow, a lot of action and stuff going on, there's a lot of angels, a lot of tetras, a lot of barbs. There's so much going on that the angels they're occupied. Not really like in the mood to be aggressive.
Yeah. And this is just the one pupper that you have.
Yep, it's just the one pupper.
Right. And now we're at the end of this rack, and we have a bit more angelfish.
Yep. So we've got some leopards, we've got some smokies, and some platinums in here. Another fun like hodgepodge tank. We're big on angels here. We like our triangles.
Yeah. And how big do these guys get?
Full, not counting their fins, body-wise, for like an adult angel, you're probably talking about like 5 to 6 inches of just solid meat, and then the fins kind of go from there if you get a nice mature one.
Yeah. These also look really good. Are they from a local breeder?
These guys are actually from one of the few U.S. wholesales that we use. There's a couple people that we use in LA. We get to go out there and like hand select stuff. So these are from one of the guys that we went to. We got to hand pick all like these guys and a couple other fish in the store as well.
What kind of wholesaler or farms do you get them from?
So we work with this. We work with 2 really nice companies online that have like broad spectrum wholesale. So each one has like a variety of different like lists and countries that they provide us with. So like the last list we got, there was Indonesia, China, Singapore, Red Sea, Germany, Colombia, Kenya, the Philippines. So they just give us this massive list of all these different countries that they work with that we get to order from. It's just a $1 minimum.
Yeah.
So it's super fun.
And how about these discus? Are they also from the farms?
So this one is from one of the oldest wholesales we used. The one that we've been using since the doors opened. We have this really nice wholesale in Vietnam that we bring these guys from. These guys just came in this morning, so they're still getting acclimated. Some of them look a little rough. 24-hour shipping on any fish can be a lot. So I'm not worried about any of these guys. They're all still breathing nice, even though some of them look like they're not doing so hot. I guarantee within like the next 4 to 5 hours they'll be swimming around, and by tomorrow morning it won't even look like they just got shipped in. What we do, the water started about here.
Okay.
Over the course of a couple hours, we'll top off a little more, and then top off a little more. So throughout the entire day, we will eventually fully top this tank off. But right now, because they came out so stressed, we're going to be slowly adjust the water level for the amount of like oxygenation.
Yeah.
So the lower water level, this heavier flow. Because discus are a hot water fish, hot water holds significantly less oxygen in parts per million than cooler water. It's a massive difference. So the easiest way to make sure that there is enough oxygen for these guys to stress breathe is to make sure that the water level is a little bit lower, more agitation, more flow, more.
So you're just gonna fill this tank up as time goes on?
Yeah, throughout the course of the day, we'll probably finish topping this off probably about like 5:30 or so, about an hour and a half before we shut the doors at 7.
Do you drip acclimate?
Yes and no. It's not an actual drip acclimation. It's more of a slow fill.
Yeah.
So
I've never kept any discus.
discus really aren't that bad, in my opinion. They only have a couple requirements. Give them, a good variety of meaty foods. Keep them warm water, soft water. A lot of people like to keep them like full RO. I don't believe in full RO long term. I like to keep these guys on slightly remineralized RO. So a TDS of probably like 50 to 100. I use Chem Equilibrium, broad spectrum essential aquatic minerals and whatnot. And in my opinion, long term, the discus do better on that than like 100% like flat from RO tank, heavily planted, all that kind of fun stuff. This tank is a fun tank. These are ones that we went and hand selected from one of the wholesales in LA. So every discus in this tank we picked individually. So these guys are all super fun, gorgeous. This one right here is probably like the favorite of the store right now. He's awesome. And then this one's my personal favorite. I just love the super neon blue with the blood red. Like the nice snake skin pattern on them. It's a gorgeous fish.
And do you price these all the same at $200?
Yep, all these guys just 200 at this size, $200 across the board. These guys are most likely going to be a similar price once they're finish acclimating and doing their thing. There is a thing you have to be careful with discus. There is a such thing called the discus plague. Discus are extremely heavily covered in a thick slime coat with bacteria that their fry feed on. And so if you get discus from too many different wholesales and mix them together, you have this massive bacteria boom that happens. You get the discus plague, all your discus turn black, and then they just start dropping one by one. You've got like maybe a 20% chance of like heavily medicating and getting them to recover. But normally once they get to the point of the discus plague, it just kind of is what it is. Yeah. So whenever we get new discus in, or especially when we're getting discus from different wholesales, we separate them.
This is the beta rack.
Yeah, this is one of the beta areas that we have. These guys are fun. These are all giant betas. So we have some galaxy koi giants, male, and then we have some nice half moon giant males in here. This is another one that we, same wholesale that we got these discus from. We go out and pick out the ones that we want. I think this one is probably my favorite of the bunch. Right now, this guy has just got some super gorgeous colors. Great tail.
And you keep all of its individual.
Yeah, you can't keep these guys together. They are a hyper aggressive fish. If you put them in a tank, especially this size together, they will kill each other. Yeah. You can, however, keep them in a community tank. I've had a massive success rate keeping these guys in like 40 gallons or larger, slow flow, do them with like neon tetras. And like all different types of I've kept them with probably one of my favorite tanks. I have them with like rams and pistos and articulated hillstream loaches. I did a whole fun oddball hodgepodge tank with like a nice big half-moon beta as the centerpiece fish. So it was one of my favorite ones of all time. Yeah,
and it's also nice that they're in their own individual tanks instead of the cups.
Oh yeah, individual tanks that have water flow, planted, scaped. Sometimes when we bring in like a big order, I can't put everyone in a tank, but whenever we have the opportunity to, we try and give them something.
Yeah.
Betas are probably one of the most mistreated, if not the most mistreated fish in the hobby outside of feeder goldfish.
Right.
So whenever we bring them in, I try and give them a better setup.
And are these in black water or regular water?
These are technically black water. So there is a decent amount of wood in a lot of these tanks, which does produce the the tannins, the essential amino acids, and all that fun stuff. Betas do prefer a black water tank. The tan in the water causes like less light to pass through. Betas are like a very light sensitive fish. They're very eyesight oriented, so the tanner water will make them feel more comfortable.
You have a lot of botanicals in there.
Oh yeah.
Where do you get the botanicals?
We order from all over. There's like another wholesale in LA where we'll go and like hand select wood. We have a local person that we get all of our. Like if you take a look at this top shelf up here, there's a local guy that we go through out here that provides us with a lot of our pieces and whatnot. Sometimes we order online. So we get from anywhere and everywhere for the most part.
Do you ever order where it's not wholesale, like from eBay or Amazon or from a certain website?
If it's like an emergency situation, let's say that I like need something right off the bat, sometimes, but usually no. When you're a brick and mortar, we have access to wholesale, so especially if it's something we're planning on selling in the store, like we have to order it from a wholesale.
Yeah.
To bring it in, because you can't like get something at a retail price and then resell it. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
how about these rams? How are these guys?
these are another one from one of our LA wholesales. These are black rams. A big fan of these guys. If you keep them in the right environment, heavily planted, long term, these guys will turn basically a jet black, just like the background with all these nice little colored highlights in there. We're a big fan of these guys, like that one in the back right there. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous fish.
Kind of look like German blue rams.
They kind of look like what now?
GBRs. German blue.
Yeah, they are basically a black version of that.
These are all juveniles right now.
Yeah, they're all still young. They still got about another like 2 inches, 2.5 inches to go at least.
And
These ones are the German blues, so these guys are balloons. A lot of our customers out here prefer the balloon rams. These guys are a fun one. We've had these guys for a while in the store now. And then these guys right here are little panda garas, another fun little cleaner that are directly related to the doctor fish up at the front.
And then, what do we have down here?
There really isn't a whole lot of much in here, just some like random drop off, like hodgepodge fish in this tank, some floaters, baby koi, fun stuff.
Are these plants also from wholesale?
Yeah, so this is just like some corn work. And we have like random bins throughout the entire store that we grow plants out. You can see some of the baby koi just kind of sitting in here chilling as they vanish.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll get nice up in the hornwort. They'll sit in there, eat, sit and relax. It's pretty fun to watch.
They don't eat hornwort. They don't eat hornwort, right?
What's up?
They don't eat hornwort?
They do.
Oh, they do?
Koi are vegetarians, so they in here they have a free buffet of hornwort and duckweed all day, and then like once they'll come by with either frozen or pellets and give them some additional nutrients.
Okay.
And like one of my favorite guys, this guy right here. We've got a little humpback puffer.
Nice.
He's a fun little guy. Get into.
How much are you selling them for?
Humpback puffers this size we're doing for about 70.
Yeah, it's decent.
This one right here is a nice little chunky Oaxaca. You can see it's kind of similar to the red spot cross river that we have up there, but it's a lot less color. This guy gets significantly larger though. These guys get like 2 feet.
Yeah.
And then we have some super high quality, kind of like the babies you saw on the other side. These are like Estuary and Electric Blue. Jack Dempsey's another one that we handpicked from one of our LA wholesales. These guys are absolutely gorgeous fish.
These are a bit older, right?
What's up?
These are a bit older?
About 2 to 3 times as old as the other ones. These guys are probably about like 6 months or so. The Electric Blue Jack Dempsey's, they don't get anywhere near as large as traditional Jack Dempsey. Normal Dempsey's can get like 14 inches.
Yeah.
These guys, the biggest I've ever seen in person was like 6. I've never seen one bigger than 6 inches.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Probably like 100 gallons plus for a group of them.
If you're gonna keep them together, probably like 75.
Yeah.
Because they only get like here. Up here we have a mix of regular and longfin Electric Blue rams, as they all just kind of spook to the back of the tank. There's probably like 40 of them in here. They're a decent size, gorgeous electric blue.
Is that a turtle tank?
Yeah, this is a little musk turtle. This is Jasmine's turtle, one of our people up here.
And how much do you sell the turtles?
Musk turtle of that size, we do it for like $50 if someone decides they want it. If not, he's probably just gonna stay here. This is a little chunky red tail. This is a drop off that we got from someone a couple weeks ago. He's still a baby. I've grown these guys to like 20 plus inches. You want to give me a little chomp, baby? This one, most likely outdoor raised, probably not the most hand friendly.
Is that a slider?
A little red-eared slider, still a little baby.
And do you feed them just these beaver goldfish?
No, we threw some in there to see if they would go for them, and I don't think they've eaten a single one. So the goldfish more or less are just in this tank to clean up. After the turtles right now, we feed them anacharis, hornwort, and a variety of like floating pellets.
And there's also, yeah, somebody jumped out. Somebody jumped out right there.
What's up?
Somebody jumped out right there.
That happens from time to time. We're a big fan of the rams here, so these are some nice like gold balloon rams that we got in. Same place, another one of the ones that we hand selected from one of our LA wholesales. They bring in some super high quality stuff. I'm in love with these rams. The subtle blue pearls and stuff all over them, the gold body with the red and orange highlights. They're really nice fish.
I see like one white cloud there right here.
Yeah, there's one of each left in here. We typically carry the gold and the traditional white clouds. Honestly, probably like one of my favorite fish in the entire store. They're indestructible. Keep them indoors, outdoors, in ponds, in tanks, whatever you want to do with them. They're there for the ride. They have a decent lifespan. They're super easy to keep. They feed whatever you throw in the tank. You know, super fun. And then the ones underneath it are one of my favorite guys. These guys are peacock gudgeons. These guys get about 2.5, 3 inches, and they are another tie-dye fish. They get really gorgeous blues, yellows, and reds, just all over their fun, like goby-like body as they get older.
This is the monster fish section.
Yeah, monster slash predator side for the most part. So there's a couple fun ones in here. We've got some baby Geophagus eyes up in here. These guys will get about like their insane colors, gorgeous streamers, and fun fish. Yellowtail archers. One of my like favorite fish. You can train these guys to shoot at specific colors, and I got a lot of friends and a lot of customers that work construction in here. So if I ever do a display tank of these guys, I'm gonna teach them to spit on that like pastel neon yellow that a lot of people wear. I think it'll be fun to have people walk in the store and just get blasted up nowhere. And then this one is a rainbow gudgeon. It's kind of like the bigger version of that peacock goby that we showed earlier. This guy gets probably about like 12 inch. So
that's a big one. What are these striped fish right here?
Oh man, we've got all kinds of fun stuff in here. We've got the nice 6-spar Distichotis. I've got a couple traditional clown loaches, some unique pattern clown loaches. Unique pattern clown loaches are like one of my new favorites. The traditional clowns have like basically the same set of like 3 even bars, but the unique patterns, like some of these guys just have additional bars. Like that one, he's got 4 in the back right there, and then these other ones have like the weird marbled pattern.
Yeah.
Big fan of those guys. And then these guys are a brand new fish to the hobby. These are royal snakeskin bass. They're a hybrid bass of hybrid bass, so they took multiple hybridized peacock bass, bred those together to create the royal snakeskins. So these guys are a fun one. Supposedly they don't get as large. Like the only place that I've seen with any information on them, it doesn't have an exact size, but it does say that they, get significantly smaller than like traditional peacock bass.
Are these aggressive?
They're relatively chill for the most part. As the bass get older, they are predatory, but with what's in the tank, all similar sized and whatnot, there really isn't any issues. As the bass get older, they do develop a little bit of a mean streak. Same thing with the Distichotis. These guys can be relatively aggressive as they get older. Right now, they're mostly just semi-aggressive with each other. You can watch them. They don't bother the bass. They don't bother each other. They don't bother the clown loaches. So.
Yeah. And the clown loaches we get up to a foot or even more, right?
14 inches is like the biggest I've seen in person. But that was probably like a 15, 16-year-old clown loach. They do get large, but they have one of the slowest growth rates of like any freshwater fish. And then we have our little dragon up top, our little silver arowana just hanging out up there, doing its thing.
That's a nice one.
It's a gorgeous little baby.
Yeah, I like the red.
The wholesale that we use, they get really high quality arowanas. So they have gorgeous blues in the body, reds all over the fins. So
What about these cichlids?
there's a hodgepodge of like mixed peacock cichlids, some abuna. We've got some pictus catfish, some spotted Raphaels, and this morning someone brought me this nice red tail shark. Most people view these guys as a community fish. I almost never keep them in a peaceful community tank. Usually, I almost exclusively keep them in African cichlid tanks, and 9 times out of 10, they become the tank boss. The cichlids legitimately become scared of those guys. They're like an oddball cleaner. They do like eat a lot of algae and biofilm throughout the tank. Watching them eat is really fun. Their mouth basically turns into a weed whacker and like vibrates.
They also get pretty big, don't they?
Yeah, they get even bigger than that. He's already about like 6 inches. He's probably got like another 2 to go.
Yeah. Do you normally prefer keeping monster fish or nano fish? What would you prefer?
I like everything, to be honest. I don't think there's a section that I gravitate to. I like doing nice, like planted nano tanks, big monster aggressive tanks, koi ponds. I don't think there's a single area that I gravitate to more than I like everything. Well, there's 2 black arowana up in there, so they're like the silver arowana, but they have like deeper colors. They basically are more of like a smoky silver.
Yeah.
As they get older.
This is really good. Do you also get these from wholesale?
Sorry?
Do you get these from wholesale?
Yeah. Everything we get from wholesale.
Yeah. Do you ever get people that come in here and they give you fish in exchange for some other
all the
fish?
time. Like that red tail shark that's in that cichlid tank, he was a drop off. One that we just got yesterday was this beast of a Texas cichlid. Right here, he's probably about like 10 inches and easily like 6 inches tall. So he's just kind of chilling, acclimating. Another African cichlid tank down here. We've got some nice blues, some juvenile star sapphires, gobies, some albino blue eyes lagunas, and then some tiger roaches.
And do you ever buy from individuals?
We don't really buy from people out here all that often, unless like someone like if I like sell out of something super fast, someone local has something that like I really need. Outside of that, it's mostly just a store credit exchange for our regulars.
Do these sell out really quickly?
It depends. Like the cichlids kind of have like booms and falls, so there's some months where they sell like hotcakes. We can't even keep them in the shop, and there's other times where we have them for like 2 or 3 months. Our busiest day of the year so far was actually 4th of July.
Okay.
So the 4th of July was absolutely insane. We basically had a line out the door for people trying to get in here. So, and like random spur of the moment, anytime, any day.
What are these?
So we have a fun mix of stuff in here. It's my little albino tank. So we have a couple of albino hecali, geophagus. These guys are one of my favorite fish. As they get older, they get super long thread fins and super insane, like oranges and reds and blues all over them. Really, really gorgeous. And then another fun oddball that we got in. We actually got these from Predatory Fins, one of my favorite channels to watch online. I've been watching them for years. It's way back they were in Florida before they even like blew up. These are albino Tapaho geophagus. They're super cool. And then we have a nice albino banana arowana up at the top. And a lot of people don't know there's actually 2 different types of albino silver arowana. So there's a traditional one, and then there's the banana. The way that you tell the difference, you can see the trim on the fin is yellow. A traditional albino arowana will have like a more like reddish orange trim on them. The cool thing with these guys, the reason why they call them banana, as they get older, the fins, the body, everything, they will slowly get more yellow. Down here we have another fun albino tank, some redhead koi angels.
Do you get these when they're super tiny? When they're
Not really. I try to avoid bringing anything in like too small. Most of my customer base actually wants like about this size or larger. There's not a whole lot of people out here to have the the patience or the want to grow them up from a baby, unless they're working with like a 20 gallons system.
Yeah. How about these plecos?
These plecos are a fun one. They're actually more of a carnivorous pleco. Those are the L240s. So they have a diamond-shaped mouth. They actually have hooks on the inside of their mouth. These guys are on the end of the pleco spectrum that was designed to decompose carcasses.
Okay.
In the wild. They can actually pinch, so these are one of the few plecos in the world that can bite you.
Okay. And what do you call them? What are the names?
These are the L240 Galaxy pleco.
Got it. What about
And up here, we just have some cloud archer fish. Just a bunch of little babies hanging out up here. Some more L240 Galaxy pleco. It's a fun little baby archers.
Are these popular?
Oh yeah, a lot of people like just the uniqueness. Like growing up watching Animal Planet, these guys, spitting, hitting crickets off leaves, and all kinds of fun stuff. So I feel like these guys are definitely like the gateway fish to get a lot of people into like paludariums and vivariums and stuff like that, versus just your standard everyday aquarium.
Is this as big as it gets, or is that?
No, they get a few inches larger than those big yellowtail ones on the other side of the store. So right about like 6.5, 7. That's where I've seen these guys. And then down here we've got a couple of gold nugget plecos and some Panama peacock bass. See a nice one right over. There he goes. A nice like black and gold.
Yeah. Do you keep these with cichlids?
You could temporarily. These are Panama peacock bass, and these guys kind of hit like 2 foot plus. So very quickly they would outgrow and assimilate their tank mates.
Yeah. They're really tiny right now.
So back here we have like one of our grow out ponds. So this is a fun little mixed pond that we have back here. There's a couple of there's 2 different sizes of koi. We've got some baby arapaima, some goldfish, and some pleco.
Okay. Yeah.
These guys have been trained like they come up and like eat. They'll come and hang out with me right here at the top. So
yeah, that's a lot of different varieties.
oh yeah, we've got like the blue pandas. We've got some avocados, some butterflies, some black metal skeleton, all kinds of fun little fish in here.
Do you ever keep any lily pads in here, or any plants?
No, I would love to, but the koi would absolutely annihilate them. So
Yeah.
they are more vegetarian fish, and with like the filtration that we run on this pond, our DIY trash can filter, and we have like 300 koi in here between like the large ones and both. We have the standard and butterfly smalls. And so whatever plants I put in here would probably last like 5 hours.
Yeah. And is that a pleco in there? Do you have plecos?
Yeah, there's a couple of like larger common pleco. There's a nice sized one directly beneath that log, and then we got pet sitting some fish in here for a regular of mine. There's 2 black ghost knifefish that are inside the log that we're holding for someone while his wife recovers from surgery. So
Okay.
he had to temporarily take his aquarium down, some sort of air quality situation. So as soon as he gets his tank back up going again after she's recovered, he'll be able to come back in and pick up his babies.
Well, that's good.
We like to help out our regulars here, the people that take care of us. We make sure to take care of them back when we can.
And you also keep fish that, like if somebody's going on vacation, do you ever keep a tank for them for the moment?
We do help a handful of people out. That if it's mostly dependent on if I have the tank space at the time.
Yeah.
We do like a little like a pet sitting rate. So basically, like depending on like the size of the fish that you need us to pet sit, whether it's a smaller aquarium or a large aquarium, it's usually like anywhere from like a $10 to like $25 a day fee. that we do here for like holding. Because not a lot of other places out here really do that and whatnot. So we have a lot more aquariums in store than I think any of the other stores in town do. So if I have the available space, I know the person and they understand that there is like some risks with like bringing your stuff to a store, having to get pet sit. Sometimes fish get stressed, sometimes stuff happens. So as long as if they want to do that, we go over the rate for and how long they're going to be gone for and whatnot. Then we can figure something out, and I try to take care of our people when I can.
Tell us about this tank. What do you have in here?
So this is one of our 200-gallon like monster grow-outs. So we have a handful of like oddball fun fish in here. We've got a nice like 14-inch Endolakiri Bashir. We have 3 of these nice red Otavo pike cichlids. My favorite fish in this tank is probably this phase 2 Luda. It's a luteus pleco. As this guy gets older, he's going to completely lose all of the green in the spots and go completely gold. The sail fin's going to get even larger, the tail gets even longer. Super fun fish long term to watch them grow out. There's a nice big like 14, 15-inch Tigrinus catfish underneath there. If you're a fan of like the shovel nose and stuff like that, it's a little bit more niche. Definitely a lot more expensive shovel nose that gets about 3 feet long, grows significantly slower.
Yeah.
We have 2 of these gorgeous blue-eye Panuke plecos.
Are these a common pleco?
No, they're a really rare, like more of an oddball, the blue-eye Panuke. They have these cool like mustaches and these like spikes all over their pectoral fins.
They do look pretty huge.
And you can kind of see the face inside the log right there. We have a handful of the true like platinum red tails throughout this tank, and you can kind of see the face hidden in the dark right there. We have a couple of NTT datnoids in here as well.
Yeah. How big do these get? Are they like a foot long?
So these guys are still small. Like they like full grown. You're probably like talking about like here, usually like that big around. These guys do slowly turn into like true monster fish.
Yeah, that's massive.
So same thing with like the phase 2 Luda. He's gonna get 2.5 to 3 foot. Easy. The red Otavo pikes are probably gonna get like 16 to 19 inches. Endolakiri Bashir can get about 2.5 to almost 3 feet. Red tails get 5 feet. So.
And do they eat the hornworm?
No, the hornworm is just in this tank. Be in the tank. Nothing in here is like a vegetarian.
Okay.
I mean, outside of the plecos, the plecos don't really care about the hornworm. They want the wafers and shrimp and whatever else I throw in here.